We have been here. We were here all the yesterdays before. The shale rises to smother us. Keep them out. Keep us in. We feel no spark of the Tibaris Inachus in this place. We cannot see it through their eyes. We slumber here, alone. The deer, the owls in our trunk, they took it all away. A tide of souls thrown upon the wheel. The ground gives way. We fall. Now our memory is a wound reopened. They came suddenly, the stillness of night split by grinding steel. We had no time to speculate. First, they blinded us. Shining eyes pierced the concealing dark. Then they burned. Smoke ensnared the moonlight. The Akita screamed. A means to an end. We saw a terrible design in the roaring flames. They had carved a path to the temple. We were their true prey. A jug to catch water. We overflowed. We persisted. We were everywhere. How could they cull the wind? How could they track the stars? Then they turned to what the Akita had made. They toppled the statues. They set the libraries ablaze. They could not kill us. They would curse us to oblivion. The Akita howled. They died. We cried out, sundered, soul by soul. We broke the earth, called down the storm, flung lightning from our hands. But they marched on. We grew tired. In fury, we exposed ourselves. Weakened, they advanced on us, they struck. They raised machines, we tried to tear down the garden's walls. Then, nothing. We floated in a great glass eye. The fog closed in on us. We reached out, but the machines held us in. We could not feel the new day's sun. Lay in the shifting tide. The cities crumbled. We could not save them. We could not save ourselves. Their cries, swords in our heart, a severed limb. We watched helplessly for aeons. Until you. A chill wind. Our branches shudder. We do not think of this. The wound numbs now. We watch as the river of time expands. In the silence of our prison we find clarity. How many voices lost? How many saplings have we cut down? We sink into the endless night. Perhaps we should be here. We are the rain, the swaying grass. What do they have to fear? We speak, though we are bound. Perhaps our soul was always free. Soil stirs. We have a new memory of this place. You opened the final lock, entered the hidden glade. You listened. You stand at a cliff now. We watch your footsteps carefully. We twine together. We reach for the sky. We grow. We grow. We grow.
We've got company!
is happening? As the affliction faster even here? It threatens our heart. We cannot fight this invasion alone. Hurry, your presence relieves us.
This is the library from my dreams. This looks like the Akita building this place. Clearly they wanted their story preserved. No matter the cost. Garlowain's gonads. Look! It's even the same hearth from my dream. And that's the chair. It's the picture of coziness. Must you always default to military tactics? Finally, you've arrived. Ah, there it smells. That took 10 years off my life. Wait. You must be the librarian from my dreams. Oh, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Oh, though, you do look quite familiar.
The resemblance is uncanny.
It has been quite some time. Too many years to number. Of course. You are an ancestor? A very fashionable one at that. No, child. We are the keeper of these tablets. Or have you already forgotten? Oh, of course. I was you in a past life. Oh, I'm such a fool. You lived with animancers, and yet the idea of awakening to your past lives never entered your mind.
Few can bear the mental and spiritual strain of an awakening. As often as not, it leads to madness.
Oh, darling, you know how I get around all the metaphysical talk.
That's why I'm here, remember?
Was the last of the Akita. Once the attack started, a few of us were charged with preserving as much of our history as we could. So we retreated with as much as we could carry. The attacks? You must mean the Magfolk attacks. Yes, we've heard. Is that the reason for the bodies outside? Yes. Your monstrous gods, who bought their divinity with blood and the souls of their faithful. They tried to butcher every last one of us. Must it always be literal blood? Oh, if all the Akidans outside were with you, you would have heard them as they were killed. But how did the Magfolk reach you in here? They didn't. Between the screams of my kin being slaughtered and the screeching of the Magfolk, I couldn't breathe. That's the screeching I heard in my dream, Envoy. I knew I recognized it when we killed that Magfolk. Once it was gone, there was nothing left. And perversely, I found the quiet worse. So I decided on another way. One that wouldn't give your gods the satisfaction. Poison? Well, at least you washed it down with some good wine. You're not helping, Envoy. Yatsley, you know what you must do now. I abandoned my duty to protect our history, but you... Someone must tell the story of the Akita, and there is no one else. I'm already an expert. What more do you want me to do? Oh, think about it, Yatsley. You have been training to be the new protector of this collection since childhood. I couldn't ask for a better successor. But that was your duty. I have my own dreams. Yatsley, if you do not become the new librarian, there will be no other. The stories of the Akita will turn to dust, and my people, our people, will be forgotten. Just as the burned queen wanted all along, when she sent her Magfolk to choke the life from us. This is all too much. What do you think, Envoy? That apprenticeship is more than I could have ever asked for. I don't know. That's hard to ignore. A chosen of Sapadal, yet you do not stand with your people. How disappointing. Our time is at an end, Yatsley. It's time for me to go. Wait! I've not even asked you any questions! Tell me about your marriage rites. Oh, did you mean for all your buildings to look so phallic? Unfortunately, my time is at an end. You must keep Yatsley alive. She is the last hope of the Akita. So this is goodbye. I wish we could have... No. I wish that all of you had a better ending. Choose well, Yatsley. And good luck. She's gone. Forgive me, Envoy, but we should get going. We can talk back in camp. Later. Turned off the trap first, right? This place seems less like a death trap. Maybe we could stop, catch our breath.
There's always a weird sort of quiet on the eve of battle. I'm feeling that now. Seems like a good time to gather our thoughts and share a drink before whatever's coming.
Right. This seems like a perfect place to stop and relax.
Though it's hard enough to tell what's real here without a belly full of drink.
Sounds like you're nervous, dearie.
I'm feeling all kinds of ways. Anxious, excited, scared, hungry.
I feel it as well. It is only mortal to feel overwhelmed in the presence of the immortal.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. Getting to see that vision of Tama did me good. Like, I finally let go of something I'd been holding too long. Now that we're here, I'm eager to see this through. Nothing worse than holding your breath and waiting. I can't say that I'm prepared, but I'm ready.
I had a feeling you might ask me that. I'm not sure I've really worked through what I've seen here, but I am grateful for the chance to see Yonko again. I feel like we're almost done with all of this, but we are in the weirdest place in the world, so who knows? I'm completely baffled, but when haven't I been lately? Being afraid doesn't even feel scary anymore.
I think so. The garden is so much more than I expected. Full of contradictions. Wild, yet serene. Truthfully, I didn't come all this way searching for my own answers. But I found them. Or perhaps they found me. And now, it's like there's a new path laid out before me. A life after the dream scourge. We're close to something. A threshold between calm and crisis, conflict and peace, life and death. So am I. None of us could have gotten this far on our own.
Well, I won't lie to you, Envoy. A lot's happened. It's not every day that you learn that you're the last hope to carry on a legacy, but... well, here we are. Never literally talked to myself before either. I think I annoyed her. Me? Oh, I think I need another drink. But here we are. I just need a moment to take it all in. Thank you, dearie. I'll be ready by the time the fun starts. And I wouldn't worry. Our little group here is perfectly frightening. And I'm sure our enemies would agree. We'll be fine. I can't speak for anyone else, though.
You've listened to all of us. How about you? You've been through a lot since you arrived. You've been shipwrecked and assassinated, harangued by gods, bureaucrats, and a death guard. You've had your soul poked, your loyalties questioned, and your sleep regularly interrupted by a god with no respect for privacy. And yet you've kept yourself and all of us together. How are you really doing?
You're very resilient. Under different circumstances, I would credit your nature as a godlike. But we all know better. You're strong enough to survive anything. Zapadal picked a good soul when they made you.
That actually made sense to me. As if I've learned something about souls and whatnot.
I'll take that as a compliment.
How about you, Envoy? What keeps you so stoic in the face of everything?
I don't think it's core training. There's something about you. When we first met, I didn't think you'd last long. But then I saw how you handled that dream thrall bear. Shook off your own death like a bad cold. And then you found your own killer and turned him in. It's rare to choose justice over vengeance, especially in the Living Lands. But you stood by your principles. I think that's where you get your strength.
I didn't know much about you at that point. You were traveling with Kai and you died, which I thought made a lot of sense.
I remember your calm. How you listened to my shouting match with the governor and actually heard me. You saved my city and gave me a home. A sanctuary where I could be myself. I'll never forget that.
You were my hero right away. You rescued me from those sporlings. You got my priceless vase. What more could a girl ask for?
And now look at you. Look at us. How far we've come in a short time. Quite a lot, as it turns out. But the journey is worth it.
Not to raise the sails before the anchor, but we left trouble in our wake. Fjord, Thirdborn, Solace. If we make it out of here, it won't be to a Living Lands suddenly at peace.
Just this once. Could we forget about the rest of the Living Lands? Some of us could use a break.
If we can't take a moment to ourselves on a floating island outside reality, then I don't know where we can.
Right. We could all use some beauty rest. We'll want to look our best on the battlefield, won't we?
Before we turn in for the night, I'd like a word in private. Nothing serious, just planning out the rest of my life.
Sleep well. Tomorrow, we finish this together.
Envoy, have you recovered yet from our chat in the library? I don't think I have yet, but maybe talking it out will help. It's just... we already have a lot to take care of, don't we? We have a god and an empire both vying for our attention, and now I have this legacy forced on me. I was already unsure what to do, and now a third option appears like the world's worst surprise. But it makes sense. My whole life has been about the godless in one way or another. It explains why I knew the language, why I felt so drawn to the ruins. Maybe. It certainly doesn't sound too awful. It's not an answer I would have expected, but it's an answer. And now that I know, I kind of thought, well, honestly, I feel more full. Like a puzzle piece sliding right back into place. No matter what happens, even if my path doesn't lead to the library, I feel better than I have in ages. That is an option. I think... for the first time in my life, I don't know what to do.
Congratulations, Yardsley. Now you're just like the rest of us.
No matter what, I've always known exactly what I want. But this is the first time I've had more options than time in the day. What do you think? You're right. It's the one area of my life that's gotten the least love. Seems it's about time to make up for that. Thank you, Envoy. I've been agonizing over this for longer than I want to admit. Finally picking a destination makes the journey a lot easier. Oh, but I am not looking forward to telling Quilici.
He'll understand. Your happiness and fulfillment are everything to him.
Well, come on. We've bigger things to deal with. Literally, in Sapadal's case. Much as I'm loath to relinquish the spotlight, we should be off. And Envoy, thank you, truly. Now, let's go.
Hey, Giada. How are you holding up after seeing those? When you find Sapadal, I hope you tell him how much I love what they've done with this place. I'm a man of hidden depths. What's not to love about floating islands and a spectral tree? Besides, as divine prisons go, I can imagine much worse. True enough. Makes me wonder if confinement was the real goal, or simply the only option at the time. One thing's for sure, imprisonment has only riled Sapadal up. Judging from their outbursts at Mount Forja and Nakukubel, they haven't exactly taken this time to reflect and relax. Uh-huh. I've heard that one before. Usually before a lot of tears, a lot of drinks, and a lot of, I should have known better. Still, you taught me that a person can grow beyond their flaws. Why wouldn't the same be true of a god? I hope you're right, because we are all in trouble if you're wrong. You know, if Sapadal were only a smuggler, assassin, or bandit, I'd be right there with you. But knowing they could end us all with a temper tantrum puts things in perspective. I guess we've all got our limits. I don't envy you having to deal with a loose cannon of a god. But I envy even less the mess you're going to have when we escape this place. Lucky thing your emperor sent his best representative as his envoy, right? You'll have your work cut out for you. And some days you wake up and the deck of your ship's covered in bird shit. You can clean it up or you can step in it. That's the choice. A lot of people aren't going to make that distinction. especially when your Ambassador Heelguard hosted Ludwig in Paradis for as long as her assistance was convenient. You may have averted the attack on Fjord, but this is one situation where it's the thought that counts. And yeah, I know that's on the Steel Garrote, but it's not lost on anyone that your people despise animancy. Not when Heelguard banned the practice in Paradis. Even if you believe that, no one else will. And that's not all. You helped Ludwig destroy Nakuku Bell. And while most people don't give a tarnished skate for godless ruins, they'll see that as a powerful demonstration of siege weaponry. One thing I've learned about war: strife and distance have a way of reducing nuance. All anyone else is going to see is a threat display, on the doorstep of the Living Land's best cannoneers, no less. And then there's Solace. You might have saved the keep, but no one's going to talk about the disaster that didn't happen. They're going to talk about why Mount Forja erupted after all this time. You'd be surprised where people can find blame when they're spun up. And it looks real bad when a Steel Garrote force just so happened to be there when it went down. Fairly or not, a lot of blame's going to be laid at Adir's door. And if I had to guess, I don't think Heelguard's been helping matters while you've been out here. If and when we get out of here, we're walking into a powder keg. And you'll have to choose a side. That's the part I don't envy. Yeah, those were your orders. And if you make it back, you'll be the godlike Adiran who survived an assassination, treated with local leaders, faced a god, and stopped the Dream Scourge. That's a powerful symbol indeed. Finding kin and countryfolk is a hard thing to ask of anyone. It's part of why I came out here. I lost my stomach for Rawatai's campaign in the Deadfire, but I wasn't going to turn insurgent against my own people either. I don't mean to burden you. It's late, and you've still got a god to face. Just know that whatever you choose, I'll fight alongside you. I'm with you to the end of this. Anytime. Good night, Envoy.
All this time, I thought my parents died in a freak accident. An experiment gone awry. A mistake. And in a way, they did. But it wasn't their mistake. It was Sabadal's. Generous? Perhaps. Until I knew the whole story, there was never anyone to blame. This whole experience has me considering my family's work in a different light. Look at what my mother accomplished. Armed with her research and her wits, she found a god. When you speak to a god, it's nothing, barely a reflex. But for the rest of us, it's unimaginable. No animancer can live up to that. Certainly not me. I thought their legacy was a curse, and I could only break it by completing their work. I was wrong. I suppose I have been all this time. I just never realized it. One thing is certain. When it comes to animancy, I need to unlearn some of my old assumptions. I wanted to tame the spirit of the living lands. Now, there's so much about it I don't understand, and it's creepy, but wonderful. Perhaps, as long as no one gets in my way. I believe the power flowing out of the garden drove this island mad. That has to end. Through animancy, we could help the living lands recover. It would take a lifetime, maybe more, but that's a small price to pay. Then again, who am I to interfere with an ecosystem that I barely understand? On the other hand, half the fun of animancy is stirring the pot and getting into trouble. I think I know what I want. There are too many variables to consider. What do you think? I have a lot of catching up to do, and plenty of room to grow. But I think you're right. So be it. Starting today, I don't have to live up to anyone's example. Animancy can be whatever I make of it. I know they would be. And not just because some ancient plans told me so. Now I just have to decide which field of research to pursue. But no need to bore you with the details. I've only got one lifetime as Giada Castel, so I'd better make it count. Hey, you helped me through a very difficult time. I just wanted to say thank you.
Jada's parents would be proud. And maybe a bit worried.
I came here to help you do whatever you're supposed to do with your god friend. Instead, I'm here talking to dead people. It was, right. But it was easier than I thought it would be. Thanks to you, I think I was ready for something like this. I will say, it's not really what I expected when I started tracking you and Kai back in Paradise. No, I was thinking more in terms of hunting for wild game and peeing on Kai to put the fires out. It's been a bit of a ride, Envoy. I feel like it's coming to an end. One way or another. I don't know. Maybe the unexpected isn't so bad after all. I never expected you and I would become friends. Quick note. If you tell any of the others I said that, I'll poison your drink. Anyway. Until next time.
A breath held. Trepidation. You are close, yet distant still. Your soul is small. The essence weighs like the sea on your chest. We feel the pressure. Darkness, yet somehow strengthened resolve. We wonder. The deer leaps at its reflection in the lake. You have defied our expectations at every turn. Perhaps we should not have been. The sky is green. The fish breathes air. We can no longer imagine. We would run, roll with the tide, sink our fingers into new earth. Whisper in the fields, lift the hills gently in our hands. Disturb the dirt, but spare the blooms. Shake the roots slowly. Vengeance denied, squandered. This cannot be. We spoke of flowers. We speak of freedom when the hand still clasps around our throat. Wake now. Find us.
Abadal's prison, I think. What else could it be? Time to shut it down forever.
Let's look around. There's got to be a mechanism somewhere around here. We make a good start. Never knew I wanted to see something so badly.
So, this is how you imprison a god.
Keep your guard up. We gotta live to tell this tale. Nice of someone to mark that spot for us.
That's it. The heart of the god.
Sam.
You won't get
You have come at last, after so long. You are so small, we questioned if you were real. Then steps, a voice, through armies and corrupted soil, you persevered. Now, you are here. The rot. We feel it festering and spreading. What is it but an extension of our pain? Your dream scourge will end when our suffering does. We were innocent once. We woke, and we wanted nothing but connection. But the other gods imprisoned us, left us to suffer alone in this place. But you are here now. You found us, a sprout in the endless winter. There is little time. We would be freed from these bonds. The strangler is close now. We feel her wire against our flesh. She begs for our blood. Her wolves defile the city on the shore. Blood on the tile. The people's cries ring in our ears. She pierces us now. Now we will not brook this. Not again. A spark. Wait. The essence bends here. Time flows into itself. You can reach her. Will the garden to open, it will take you there. A mountain of essence. We strain, but it will move for you. We were everything. What have we lost? What multitudes could we contain? We could run, leap in the water, flourish in forgotten hills. We want nothing more than that. We mourn our past. We only seek peace now, a chance to regrow. We trust you. You who have been by our side for so long. You met death and imposed the law of mortals. The Strangler took justice into hers without asking. We will not. We only wish to turn away from the past and look to the horizon. Give us peace. We want a chance to change. We deserve that opportunity. Do you think we have learned nothing from you? We deserve more than this prison. Let us... Or do you have no more mercy for us than you did for the bear? The beautiful thing you killed, already you have forgotten. We asked what you would do with an animal that sickened after a fight. Do you remember what you said? Then let us die. You would offer a beast and the world mercy from its pain. Grant us the same. The time has come for you to act. End our pain and the dream. Give us peace. Center your thoughts. Reach for us. Clear the fog. Tear down the gates. We were so blind, so lost. We brought such horrors to this place. We feel bright. We had forgotten what it is to live. We will grow, tend, flower. We will always remember this. We will remember you when you are ash and soil and mulch.
Cedra's dead. Are we back in Dawnshore? Already?
This is Sapadal's doing. I'm certain of it. No power in Aora could transport us so quickly, or so far. Doubtful. While they were in chains, so too was their power.
Are you seeing this? I don't think Paradise looked like this when we left it.
Looks like the war already started, and the giant roots are winning.
Marius, vines don't usually get that big this quickly, do they?
Based on their growth and size, I'd say we've been gone 2 or 3 weeks.
Hey, at least you didn't let 6 years go by.
Who knows if the garden affected time, or merely our perception of time? Assuming there's even a difference.
It's like how a body fights an infection. The fever gives you strange dreams that feel like an eternity.
Look at this place. It feels like we're still in the dream. And not just us. Those are more your people's ships in the harbor, and steel Garrote banners past the barricades. That can't be good.
Even Raingrim is here. Perhaps we'll get to see an Archmage in action.
I think I see Elia as well. What a strange reunion this will be.
The Blessed Wardens are here too. That conflict we've been trying so hard to prevent started without us.
Always better than the reverse.
The Steel Garrote have been itching for a fight this whole time. This would have happened with or without us.
Before we go, what happened back there with the Dream Scourge and Sapadal?
I'm not sure. That's good, right?
It's a relief that the Dream Scourge won't be a problem. I only hope we can say the same about Sapadal. Time will tell, I suppose.
After all this time, they're free. And the living land is free to heal.
We've cured the land, and we've even freed a caged god. All in all, rather a successful day.
Kid and God entwine. The flower shades the soil in which it grows.
We should take a look. See if we can get ahead of whatever storm is brewing down there.
People seem to be gathering west of here. Whatever's happening, let's be a part of it.
Son, they marched in with no warning. I could... Envoy! What does the Garrote think they're doing? What's the point of exploring if you just want to plant your flag everywhere? They broke some glass, but the map is safe. They didn't think I was worth the trouble.
Right now, that's a good thing.
If you're looking for survivors, a few of us fled to the Balrog.
How many?
I'm not sure. I saw Sapiento. Gods, I hope they're not trapped in there. I am sorry I can't be more help. You always were a forgiving friend.
We should move. Let's hope the Garrote hasn't made it to the Balrog yet.
Envoy, wait! Before you go, I took some supplies when I ran.
What happens in Dawnshore shall ripple across the living lands.
Young, is that you?
I don't wanna go.
As soon as my gun's cleaned, I'll get out there. I risk a jam on the battlefield. The living lands.
Do we even know what we're doing here?
Oh, Envoy. How good to see you here as we stand together at the brink of this historic event. I don't know if thank you is precisely what I want to say, but I am grateful to you for bringing Dolna's theft to light. Paradise burns from the torches of the Steel Garrote. The people of the Living Lands stand ready to defend their home. I have no doubt that this will be only another chapter for you. But nevertheless, whatever the outcome of the upcoming battle, do not forget us. I fear that more than our deaths. If Adir and the Steel Garrote have their way, they'll strip the history books of any mention of our culture and our ways. Future generations will only ever know us as an appendage of the Empire. I hope it doesn't come to that. Only if that is all you've ever known. We can agree to disagree, I suppose. That's as much as I'll say. You have a role in deciding what happens next. Do the right thing, Envoy. Let history remember you for the correct reasons.
Giata, where have you been? Envoy, I knew you'd show up eventually.
How is Emerald Stair? More importantly, how are you?
Thriving on both counts, I'm happy to report. My revenants were just getting comfortable in Thirdborn when the Steel Garrote stepped out of line. When I heard tensions were brewing, I thought to myself, this is a job for the undead. So I gathered the flock. Likewise, I'll keep them on a tight leash, just in case the Steel Garrote breach our defenses. Better to have them and not need them. Oh, and I've been meaning to thank you. Whatever you did in the garden seems to have worked. Emerald Stair is healing, believe it or not. Once this is over, our crops will flourish like never before. Indeed, the metaphysical currents of the living lands are beginning to settle. Best of luck out there. And don't worry about a thing. My flock will keep us safe and secure.
Thank you, Elia. My compliments to the flock, as always.
We know you. Did you help us? We seek...
Do you think she'll ever... Never mind.
If anyone knows that...
The Steel Garrote would see. I can do this. I have to do this.
If you're wounded, find a place to lie down. Someone will get to you before you bleed out. If I seem distracted, I apologize. I'm tending to the fallen, as you can see. Believe it or not, we have more than enough supplies. The Clavager knew this day might come. Unfortunately, my hands are full with the dying and the dead, and there's too many of both. If I don't get any sleep, I might be the next casualty. I see you've done this before. Very well. I'll assign priorities to the wounded, and the gods will sort the dying. Thank you, Envoy.
You're a born commander, Envoy.
Yeah.
Envoy, how did you... I don't know... Where did you come from? You just appeared out of nowhere.
Once word about Paradis reached us, we were allowed to go. But listen to me rambling. Forgive me, Envoy. I won't keep you long. I just want to make one request while you're here. As much as you can, be good to the Living Lands. Yes, but more than that, I'd just like for us to live lives that are free, for us. not Adir to determine our fates. It's going to be up to you, Envoy. I know you have much to do, so I'll just leave you with that. Thank you.
Show the Steel Corrode who built the living lands. We cannot afford to hesitate.
So, here we are. The first and last battle for the living lands. I know you speak from experience, but I still hope you're wrong. Metaphysically, the battle is already over. Sapadal is free, and the Dream Scourge is gone. But politically, we have a small mess to tidy up. I intend to send a message to the Steel Garrote. And it won't be subtle. Anyway, who knows what tomorrow will bring, so let's be grateful for today. You've earned a little peace of mind. I think that's enough wool gathering for now. Besides, I need to tinker on the phantasmal focus. Make sure it's ready for war. Don't stay up too late. Until next time.
There you are, Envoy. You ready for this? Understood. Same here. I guess it helps we have a god on our side, right? I mean, a god beats a skeleton knight any day. This is just cleanup. Just figuring out who controls the living lands from here out. Someone once told me that war is just applied politics. Never really understood what that meant. Anyway, you should get some rest. Oh, if you need to rehearse any speeches or whatever, make sure you do it in front of someone else. It's not that I don't want to. It's that I'd just rather not. Talk to you later, Envoy.
Marius, dear. How are you feeling?
We should take a moment to acknowledge what happened back there. You liberated the god of the living lands. Now they are unchained, free to do whatever they want. That's quite a gamble you made. I admire your confidence. If not for you, Sapadal would still be pacing their cage like a wild animal. Which means you have leverage over a god. How do you plan on using it? That's a lot of responsibility, but I have faith you're equal to it. Sapadal's imprisonment shaped this island. Now that everything's changed, I'm curious what will happen. We cannot know if the living lands will normalize or destabilize as a result of our actions. Eventually, maybe you'll find some comfort in prayer, now that one of the gods is listening. I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. The subject matter is a bit much for our little camp. You're too kind. I want you to know this has been an unforgettable experience. Wherever we go from here, I'm grateful to have been a part of it. Until next time. You too.
Envoy, didn't think I'd be seeing you here. For one battle.
Envoy? Is it really you? Mihala told us you went into some place called the Garden to seek a god?
When you didn't return, we took you for dead.
What did you see there? The god you felt in Makutadek?
It's too preposterous to believe. How could a plague be ended by speaking with a god?
Everyone, please, please. We could get to the bottom of this if you would only let them speak. It's been weeks, Envoy. What happened?
Sapadal was responsible for the Dream Scourge. Their rage, their confusion, their fear.
So you say. But Shatterscarp is still littered with dream thralls, and Temerty is still pacing her room, muttering in the dark.
There won't be any new infections. We've put a stop to that for good. Unfortunately, there's little we can do for those already in the grip of the Dream Scourge. We can give them comfort, nothing more. This will be a process. The Dream Scourge was never going to simply go away overnight.
I suppose it stands to reason. I found that a quick fix is often anything but. What of this god, then? What does it mean that you freed them? Ludwig had intimated that this land grew a new god. But how can that be?
Giada and I have some theories about the nature of the Adra in the Living Lands.
I'd say we're past the point of theorizing.
If the Adra here is a closed system, like a terrarium for our souls, then a gradual accumulation of essence could coalesce into a being in the beyond.
Much like the formation of gemstones. All it takes is time and the right application of pressure.
Wodka no doubt saw Sapadal as a threat to her authority. So, she killed the godless and imprisoned their god.
I assume it is this god we have to thank for the roots tearing apart Paradise? They erupted from the earth the moment those bastards stood up their first siege tower.
Naku Tedek was riven with those things, not to mention what they did to the land.
Similar roots had infected the structures at Naku Kubel. If they and the Dream Scourge were really the work of a god, and the gods thought it best to imprison this god, how could you let such a creature go free?
Let's hope they don't decide to further amend themselves by coming for our heads.
It was Adir's arrival that disturbed Sapadal. We'll have nothing to fear from this god once we expel you from our lands.
Having Sapadal at our beck and call might be to our advantage. I'd like to see Rawatai try to stand toe-to-toe against a god.
Keeping watch over Sapadal was a sacred task Nanru gave us when he left. For that reason alone, my wardens owe them their allegiance.
Well, whatever happens, I suppose we can't put the godling back in the bottle now.
But come, we have more pressing matters to attend to. The Steel Garrote have attacked Paradise. Inquisitor Ludwig has already joined the battle. She must have traveled like the wind to get here so fast.
You did. I kicked her corpse when you weren't looking, just to be sure.
Well, she's seen better days, but you wouldn't know it judging by how she fights.
Ludwig's run through the militia like a whirlwind.
All right, let's keep the similes to ourselves.
A bit like you're being haunted, isn't it? Or cursed. But that's your affair. So long as her passion for Wodika lives, so too will her spirit.
Then we destroy her faith, and the rest of her will follow. I have a theory about this. Let's talk at camp if you want to hear it. But I think we can kill her.
Oh, good. That will be easy.
It is not, I think, impossible. Well, you might not believe me, but I didn't want any of this to happen. It was Ludwig who called for the attack.
I didn't hear an answer, Ambassador.
She and her Steel Garrote laid siege to the city, shortly after you beat her to the garden.
We've had no news from inside for several days. From what we can observe, southern Paradise is in pieces, and the remaining militia batters at the gates to no avail.
Is there nothing our people can do?
Given the state of our supply routes after the Dream Scourge, and the Steel Garrote's destruction, we expect the people trapped inside will run short of fresh food and clean water in a matter of days.
Thirdborn still suffers from the Dream Scourge. Though you may have ended the plague, Envoy, many in Shatterscarp still are not themselves. I could bring no more than a handful when we heard.
Likewise, my wardens are still reeling from effects of the eruption. The keep was saved, but there is much to repair, particularly if we are to endure a siege. Most of my men remain at the keep. I can't risk them against the Steel Garrote for the sake of Paradis, not when we are so few.
Well, that's been a point of debate. We can't agree on how to stand against the Steel Garrote, nor who should lead the effort.
There are too few of us to risk an uncoordinated effort.
So you let the Paradis militia go it alone?
Even if our meager forces should make it inside,
the siege won't end until Ludwig does. And none of you know how to kill her.
Precisely. The lawful settlement of a new Adirian colony, supposedly. Or the establishment of a Woedican state. She could win with a godlike in her ranks. Your presence would serve as a powerful endorsement. I suspect that's rather the point. If they don't believe in the strength of her convictions, she'll show them. Remember, she has an obligation to Woedica, a solemn oath. And neither the Steel Garrote nor the Queen that was look kindly upon oathbreakers.
Because a victory here would discourage resistance elsewhere. The better question is, why didn't you stop her?
Excuse me? She's a 7-foot-tall skeleton powered by her devotion to the goddess of retribution. This isn't my fault.
Sure. Just blame the dead woman. Very mature.
Who else should I blame exactly? Our envoy, perhaps? For not stopping Ludwig in the tusks?
You could start with blaming your own incompetence.
Ludwig's the muscle. I'm merely the personality. What was I supposed to do? Frown her into submission?
What good are you as a diplomat if you can't even keep your own beast under control?
The Inquisitor was so convinced the Living Lands would unite against Adir that she's nearly made it true. One people, one law, one true God. That's Ludwig's vision for the Living Lands. That's what Ludwig thinks. Adir doesn't revere Woedica as fervently as it once did. Worship of Mogrin, Berith, even Aethys has gained a foothold. Many no longer trust that the gods are listening. Some question whether they guide the wheel at all. The Empire lost its foothold in the Eastern Reach. The well-bred avoid child-rearing in pursuit of cosmopolitan pleasures. The Church is weak against them. In a world of soul against soul, Ludwig believes we have lost ours. The Empire must change, or it will die. Her devotion to her principles is the only thing that keeps her alive. To question them, even for a moment, would mean death. You and I both know she is not the only one in the Empire who feels this way. Even the Emperor can see, in some sense, that she's right. Why else would we be here?
I can't wait to see how you weasel out of this one.
I know it will. We are leading by example, returning order and dignity to Paradis in the wake of the Clavager's death. We will do the same to the frontier, given the chance.
Where was order and dignity when the Steel Garrote attacked my home?
My administration had nothing to do with that, as I know you know. Adirian rule and rule by the Steel Garrote would be markedly different beasts.
Spoken like a fucking diplomat. Splitting hairs when it all comes from the same head.
Order and dignity. That's what you think we're missing? Bastards! All of you!
You will take it all, whether the chance is given to you or not.
What passes between Ludwig and her men, or between Ludwig and the Emperor, for that matter, is not my affair. But if I had to guess, this was the alternative.
Your empire is doing what it does best. Stamping out dissent until surrender is the only option.
Your republics are hardly any different. Their intentions in the Deadfire were certainly not pure.
As you say, we left the republics for a reason.
The Inquisitor answers only to Woedica. In attacking Paradis, she has dragged us all far beyond the bounds of the Emperor's desires.
Ludwig agrees. Our success would model the order and dignity of the Steel Garrote, for whatever that's worth.
You think I'll ignore what I've seen with my own eyes? The Empire has brought us nothing but chaos and suffering.
Careful, Envoy. Adir may still have a part to play, but don't let loyalty blind you.
I've answered your questions. Now I would like you, all of you, to answer mine. Ludwig has sent a message to the Emperor informing him of her attack. He will send advisors and reinforcements swiftly in response. What will his representatives find when they arrive? A new colony? A budding grave room? Before you face Ludwig, you should know what you're fighting for. All of you must decide, together. But whatever you decide, understand, the days of the frontier are done. Adir will come. Indeed, we are already here. The Living Lands would become an extension of the Adiran Empire in leadership and law. Soldiers bearing the flag of Adir would be garrisoned in every town. They would be paid in Adiran shelling and speak only the Adiran language. Their roads would be smooth Adiran roads. Their medicine would be hygienic Adiran medicine. And their weapons would be efficient Adiran weapons. Our customs would become their customs. Our strengths would become their strengths. Our emperor would become their emperor. Turned toward a common purpose. No one, not Rawatai, not the Valian republics, not even a rogue god, would dare attack the Living Lands. This island would be safe for the first time in its history, and safe it would remain.
The Adder's promise. Flip our feathers as we find our wings. The deed binds as the wire binds. To drown us. Why were we set free?
He would suppress our culture before it's had a chance to grow. Everything my people cultivated would be reduced to a footnote. If you have any love for this land, do not allow him to overwrite our history.
Rawatai built its empire from colonies like this. Many have become centers of culture and prosperity, backed by the protection of a strong navy. Of course, it can take decades to get there. And this road isn't an easy one. But Adir won't be the only empire eyeing this place. A formal agreement now could protect us from something worse later.
It shall be peaceful in that all dissenters will be silenced. So there's that.
The Living Lands is a lot of things, but it will never be Adir, no matter how hard Adir wants it to be. Adir should turn back now and save everyone a bunch of blessed day trouble.
The traditions of solace are what give my wardens their strength. Without them, we would buckle under the weight of the tusks. I would sooner walk my people into the acid sea than trust an Adiran to hold me up.
The only threat I see on the horizon comes from Adir itself. You want me to thank this thief for protecting me from my purse? They can't offer us anything we don't already have.
Under Adiran rule, your countrymen would strip my people of everything that makes them unique, all in the name of spiritual hygiene. I cannot betray them like that.
Of course. The Living Lands would retain its own laws under a grave appointed by the Emperor. The grave would be expected to promote and develop the Living Lands to our mutual benefit. They would divide the island into administrative districts and see them governed by mayors appointed from the local communities. The island would provide tribute in the form of resources and taxes, and in times of war, soldiers. The Empire, I should note, is nearly always at war. In return, the Living Lands would enter Adir's sphere of influence, and should outside nations attempt to invade, we would come to the Grave Room's aid. Naturally, that would be the Emperor's decision. But I suspect he would choose you. Only the strong survive the frontier. I used to believe that was Ludwig. But you were born to rule here. Quite literally. Well, give the matter some thought. You owe that much to yourself, at least.
We give up our fighters and the wealth of our lands, and get promises in return. But we have wealth enough to give some away, if it means my wardens may return to their vigil in peace.
A grave room wouldn't be my first choice, but we're going to need a hand with all the dream thralls left in Shatterscarp. So if the Emperor's willing to pitch in, then I guess so am I.
With the Dream Scourge ended, my people can soon return to Fior. If a renewed animancy could easily feed the island, I suppose we could send Adir what's left. But when lean times come, who will we feed first? Ourselves or the Empire?
Tribute, he says. Taxes. Soldiers. The Empire has tried it all before. Look to the Eastern Reach if you don't believe me. They want to bleed us dry, to fill their coffers and fight their wars, to break us like wild animals. But I will not bend.
It's still a gamble, but I think it's the safest bet. We get the benefits of Imperial trade and protection without losing all of what makes this place special. There's no way of knowing what it would mean in another generation or two. But right now, it gives us the security and stability to recover.
We were fine before Adir showed up, and we'll be fine when they're gone. Trust the lands and her people, Envoy.
If we give Adir power over us, we can't be surprised if they decide to flex it later.
So, pernicious. Touch the rot, yet the disease remains. Safety among spiders. A web gleaming with dew. They weave, they wait.
Of course.
Excellent question.
You have seen more of this land, and met more of its people than any of us. Your opinion is informed. You were empowered by the Emperor himself to investigate an impossible problem. And against the odds, you solved it. You are the close personal friend of a rogue god. And in our dealings together, I found you to be a person of substance and conviction. But mostly, it's because you're Adiran, so I trust you. And these fine people here are going to do whatever they like if they don't agree with you anyway. Oh, Envoy, no. Do not suggest that lightly. Think of the Emperor. There would be reprisals. Ones which this conclave could not survive, fractured as you are. Not unless you came together and formed a nation of your own. It would be difficult. No, impossible. I'm certain you would fail. Think of your people, all of you. Think of the lives at stake.
Though I'm hardly eager to work with any of you, I like the idea of twisting beneath Adir's boot heel even less. So long as the Wardens can continue our vigil, I'm open to uniting, if you are.
Thirdborn alone couldn't stand against the storm. But the might of all of us, together, we could deter any but the most fearsome adversaries. And that's what cannons are for.
With the Envoy's support, we'd have a god in our pocket. What could the Empire do to stop us? When my people return to Fior, we could create such miracles of animancy, the living lands would become the breadbasket of the world.
We deserve our autonomy, even if we must fight for it. Anything less would be surrender.
Fleeing someone else's laws and authority is one thing, setting up your own is another. We're an island of misfits and dissidents. We'll still have to surrender some of our autonomy, and we won't agree on what that means overnight. We'll be vulnerable. Without allies, other powers will see us as ripe for the picking. know that this is a hard road to walk.
We were fine before Adir came. We'll be fine when they're gone.
I think we ran things perfectly fine before your kin got here.
Risk into bounty. Does the winter frost dissuade the seeds? Many fruits on our boughs. We graft many leaves into strength.
Well, let's not twiddle our thumbs while Paradise burns.
Oh, gods have mercy.
Solus and her wardens stand vigil with the living lands.
You can count on Thirdborn. Our cannons stand with the living lands.
Fjord and her animancers stand with the living lands.
We deserve this opportunity. Thank you for believing in us.
Fighting a battle together is easy. I just hope everyone's willing to stick it out when it comes to the politics.
God, they made the right decision for once.
Finally, some sense permeates the proceedings.
On your head be the consequences. That leaves the matter of Ludwine and the Steel Garrote. She will never surrender, Envoy. You must kill her, or we will lose Paradise, and eventually the island.
The living lands will never be free until we break the chain around our necks. Ludwine must die her final death.
She better say her goodbyes while she can.
I'm proud to fight at your side, Envoy. One last time.
Let's get to work then. We've got a walking corpse to bury.
The Paradise militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Thank you for deserving it. Now, go and teach.
Show them that the living lands will not be broken across Vodka's knee.
We will send reinforcements to help you reclaim the Eastern Gate. From there, work your way to the main plaza. May all the gods of Eora and the living lands protect you.
Let's take back the city together. Show the Steel Garrote how the living lands takes care of its own.
Time to stop the Steel Garrote. Lead the way, Envoy.
Can't sleep? Neither can I. We're going into battle for the soul of the living lands, rallying under the banners of the Paradise militia. Your Emperor will not be pleased. Indeed. When a godlike fights in battle, people take note of which side. The Adirans will doubt your loyalty. The locals will doubt your commitment. You may even doubt yourself. This is the first time you were told to pick a side, and I fear it won't be the last. All we ask in return is that you do the same for us. From what I understand, your ambassador is very persuasive, very powerful, and very accustomed to getting his way. For a politician like him, losing a battle is not a defeat. It's an opportunity. When he promises you the world, don't listen. He'll fill your head with lies if you let him. I'm glad we understand each other. It's good to see you fighting for the misfits and rabble-rousers. Time for you to get some rest. We have a big day ahead of us. In truth, I'm not as worried as I used to be. I've been thinking about the Inquisitor. Formulating a theory, you might say. A Death Guard clings to their existence by force of will. Stubbornness, unfinished business, that sort of thing. Ludwine is held together by faith, and that may be her undoing. Faith is the foundation of her reality. Faith in the righteousness of the gods. But according to her faith, Sapadal should not exist. A new god independent of hers? Blasphemy. By that logic, you shouldn't exist either. And yet here you are. By staying alive, of course. You are the godlike of a heretical god. A contradiction to her reality. Can you imagine how much she needs you to die? Her entire worldview depends on it. Who knows? Maybe that uncertainty is enough to make her mortal again. Or maybe not. I'm just theorizing as I go. Whatever happens, I want to see it for myself. For the research. When I agreed to travel with you, I didn't think I'd find myself at the center of a political upheaval. So imagine my surprise when you gave the Living Lands a chance to unite, to prove itself, and to stand tall before its enemies. Granted, it was an uphill climb. The Dream Scourge exposed our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities. But thanks to our struggle, the island finally knows itself. Now we can decide who we want to become. I can't wait to see what we do with that freedom. Agreed. We fought hard just to defend what's ours. But to answer your question, the future looks bright for a change. Thanks for talking.
You should get some sleep. Makes sense. It's a lot to think about. I've been in a lot of dangerous situations, but it's always been a fight to survive. It's just a fight. Putting my life on the line for someone else's cause. It's the opposite of survival. It's foolishness. You know, I've never seen a bear go to war. They fight for survival, not for causes. We're about to go out there and risk our lives for, what? A concept of how things ought to be? We might die, all to determine who sleeps in the nicest house in Paradise until the island decides it's time for a change. It's fine, really. But it's some blessed day Sokka when you think about it. Right. Careful you don't get stuck in all that sap. I'll be all right, Envoy. You go get some blessed day rest.
Everyone okay?
Nicely done! You should be here.
Found you.
her demand your submission. Stand against her and fall.
That's Ludwig ahead. Lead on. I'm with you to the end.
Envoy over here.
Come on. You know this. You practiced with Uncle Maybe 100 times. Tight, but not too tight. You don't want to cut off the blood flow.
What exactly do you think you're doing?
Liviana? Don't you ever take a break?
You nearly died in my clinic. Correction, you did die. And now look at you. Fighting the Steel Garrote. What have you got to say for yourself? Well, at least you're alive. Try and keep it that way. Kai, is this your doing?
Come on. I couldn't have kept him out of the action if I wanted to.
I knew you were a bad influence. We're patching up folks as best we can, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. War is a damn bloody mess. You'd know better than anyone. I can't say I approve of you leaping into the fray, but it's always nice catching up with a former patient. Wait a second. Jada? Jada Castell? What are you doing in the middle of this?
Surviving. It's good to see you, Liviana. Unfortunately, we're on a tight schedule. Do you need anything? Money? Supplies?
Once this is over, I could always use another pair of hands at the clinic. The invitation's still open.
Thank you, but I've decided to tough it out as an animancer. On my own terms. Can you manage without me?
Are you kidding? I'm happy for you. Besides, I've got Chico on bandage duty. I just wanted you to know there's a place here whenever you want it. Gods be with you, Envoy. For my sake, try not to die a second time.
That's why I adore Liviana. For a peacemonger, she can be very authoritative.
I may not be a hero, but I can... Envoy, it's good to see you fighting on the right side of history. Out of curiosity, what turned you against the Steel Garrote? It's high time we explain that to a few people. You know the Steel Garrote a lot better than we do. Their coordination is damn impressive. Any advice? I'll send it down the line. Ready to make...
You're a natural commander.
there you are. So, you survived the garden. Did you come all this way just to try your luck again? To kill me more efficiently than last time? So you say. But you can't kill me in a way that hasn't been tried already.
I can't wait to prove you wrong.
Silence, child. The adults are talking. Look around, Envoy. Heelguard should have listened. He tried to bring order through compromise. He failed. Order is meant to be imposed by a stern, guiding hand.
Her order wields sharp steel. She must set down her blade.
You can tell Wodaka yourself once we've sent you back to the wheel.
Don't insult my intelligence or my commitment to the cause. Treaties can be burned. The hands which shook over whatever deal you struck can be lopped off at the wrist. As for you, Sapadal's chains are broken, which means your soul is in their grasp. I don't know how deeply you've been compromised, Envoy. And if I don't know, then I cannot suffer you to live. Do not patronize me. I have every right to put down a threat to the Empire. Steel yourself, Envoy.
We would not welcome her death. There is still ample shade for her beneath our tree.
You will. You must. You have no choice. Face me and die with honor. Or fall to your knees and die as a coward. How you die doesn't matter, but you will die. Every vestige of Sapadal must be wiped from this earth. The Burned Queen demands it.
We are a challenge to her authority. She is afraid of what we mean.
Blasphemy. Sapadal is a clot in the heart of the world. What should they matter to the true gods of Eora? Your god will meet their end just as soon as I'm through with you. Hear me, Envoy. I am the avatar of the Burned Queen. I am her sword arm, her will in the world. And so long as I can fight, I will be her champion.
But she failed to ensnare the living lands, and we are free. How long until Wodaka finds a new avatar?
I've done all that I could. She sees that. She must. It isn't my fault. Whenever you could, you stood in my way. I believed we were alike, Envoy. That when the time came for you to prove your loyalty, you would choose Adir. I believed the dream of our future, of our resurgent empire, would move you as it does me. And if that failed, I believed the Burn Queen would stop you. Yet here you stand before me, my enemy, unopposed by the gods. Why?
The worm of doubt gnaws at her soul. Where was Wodaka when she needed her most? Where is she now?
No! The Burned Queen witnessed my devotion and accepted me as her champion. I don't need anything else. I can still prevail. I must. I feel her fire in me. I know I do.
Do you?
Boudica!
No.
No! It's not true!
Shame. Suffocating shame.
Stop! I can't! No! 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 Forgive me! Boudica!
Wherever Ludwig is now, she must be seething.
Of course, we'd be happy to kill her again, if needed.
She's done for, but we're not. Whatever's next, we'll face it. Together.
Gods, you're all gonna make me sick. But carry on.
Unraveled at last. We no longer feel her wire against our flesh. We are free always. We are free forever.
Silence falls over Paradis, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. You feel Sapodal close to your thoughts, stirring with interest. The god of the living lands is observing this moment, unfettered by confusion or fear. For the first time in centuries, they understand. The Paradis militia rallies to you, the outsider who defended them in their hour of need. Whatever happens next, you have won their confidence. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The Dream Scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the plague came from a power beyond mortal understanding, and how it is finally at peace. Thanks to you, the Living Lands has escaped Adiran oppression. The free settlements unite under a common banner and begin the fraught process of negotiating new traditions and values. The Empire withdraws. The frontier remains wild, but not for long. Paradis's rebels cannot accept your version of independence. After the assassin Egwulf died in custody, only a few of his people ally themselves with the United Settlements. To them, you will always be the oppressor. The Oracle Sargemus emerges from the Temple of Aethys, unburdened by any purpose but for the one you gave him. He sets out across the living lands in search of the sick, lost and grieving, and he gives them the comfort of fellowship where he can. When his energy flags, he recalls the compassion you extended him, and he returns to his work with renewed devotion. His new labors cannot fill the hole left by his god's passing from the world, but they give him succor during the long hours of the night. He dies alone in the Deerwood, beloved of no one, but remembered by all he knew. He does not forget you. The refugees of Emerald Stair resettle in Thirdborn, bringing their skills and research to aid the local community. What starts as an uneasy partnership blossoms into a bond of trust. Through shared adversity, they find common ground. In time, the people of Emerald Stair return to their city of Fior Messiverno. Research yields new developments in the struggle against nature. Technology is shared among the United Settlements. The Empire cannot get in the way of progress. Though free, Shatterscarp is still haunted by the surviving Dream Thralls after the destruction of Naku Kubel. The routine hunt for the remaining monsters becomes part of Thirdborn's everyday life, another chore atop a hardscrabble existence with few comforts. The youthful make a game of the hunt, retrieving artifacts from the dead to return to those they left behind. Solace Keep clings to its long-held isolation at first, but after mourning her friend Kostya, Mihala reluctantly deigns to open the doors of the fortress. Some dwarves greet newcomers with glee. Others still mutter darkly about outsiders. Mihala flounders in her earliest negotiations with the rest of the living lands, but slowly learns compromise. She develops a taste for Valian sweets. For the first time in many years, Kai feels an agreeable restlessness. Not to flee, not to drift, but to venture. He visits the distant shores Tama told him about, and savors the modern marvels, ancient wonders, and breathtaking expanses he beholds. His heart swells, not with grief, but with awe. There is so much to discover, and he will spend his years chasing all of the joy and beauty the world has to offer him. With many of his anxieties and lifelong fears addressed, Marius now feels very differently than he did when he first met the envoy. Still far more comfortable in the wilds than among people, he nonetheless finds that his worries about the unknown were merely self-protection against the traumas of his childhood. Armed with this knowledge, he finds himself more capable of living in civilization, and far less fearful of his home in Galawain's tusks. While he never regains his former place as a warden of Solace, he spends his time traveling between Solace and Thirdborn, acting as a stubborn ambassador between the two. Giada continues to improve as an animancer. She dedicates her work to the spiritual health of the living lands, nurturing instead of exploiting. Others follow her example, seeking her tutelage from lands far and wide. In the years to come, rumors spread of a secret society gathering in the wilderness, where animancers work in harmony with nature. The dream of Fiormes Iverno lives on in her. Unable to pass up the opportunity, Yatsley takes her place beside Reengrim. Under the tutelage of the Archmage of Terror, Yatsley sees her own power grow beyond her wildest expectations. But Reengrim is a strict master, and the visits to Quilici slow to a stop over the years, leaving her with her grimoire and a pile of letters to warm her in her twilight years. Freed from torment for the first time in centuries, Sopadal turns their prodigious curiosity to the people that shaped them. They observe the ways their people live, and they think deeply about what they see. Though they flinch away from moments of violence, and they grieve souls returned to them too soon, the rage that once shook cities to rubble no longer rules them. Instead, they come to you with questions. They want to understand. After a time, they begin tentatively to garden. Where they can, they improve the lives of Kith, and the suffering that troubled them is reduced, if never fully eradicated. Their grief compels them to love, and they love unreservedly, with the power of a god. Sopadal pours a fragment of their power into the statue they claimed from the temple of Aethys. Newly embodied, they roam the living lands and learn to experience the world as Kith do. Their first attempts at locomotion are clumsy, and a stand of innocent trees is violently returned to the wheel. But as their confidence grows, so does their grace. Soon, they are bounding across the plains of eastern Dawnshore, leaping the river gorge in Emerald Stair, scaling the shark's teeth of Shatterscarp, and fearlessly wading into the Tusk's acid sea. When they break, they come to you to put them back together, and in time,
They learn to fix themselves. They wander far afield. You see less of them, but they are never far from your thoughts. And on the rare occasion they return, they always bring you something beautiful and strange. The sounds of celebration pull you out of reverie. Many are waiting to greet you with open arms. You take a moment to catch your breath and savor it, because everything is about to change.